All right, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all here. Good, good. Have you ever gone to like the grocery store, like Bel Air, and then I don't know if you're like me, but I start on one end and I go to the other end, right? And then have you ever seen somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, like an old Dharma school kid, for example? I think I saw Richard Kai's daughter there. Kristen Kai, and you see him and you're like so happy to see him, right? When you see him in the produce aisle, you're like, oh, it's so good to see you. How old are you now? What are you doing? When are you going to come back to church? And all that stuff. And you see him, you're like, oh, great to see you. And you talk about their life and you're like, all right, great. Hey, good to see you. Have a great day. And then, you start shopping, right? And then you realize that you go to the next aisle and then there they are again. And you're like, yeah, hi. Oh, it was great seeing you back there. It's not as good seeing you now, but that was great. And then so you're like, all right, this is getting weird. So I'm going to hang out in this aisle for a second. Hold up. I'm going to wait here and get some more. Maybe I need some more bread. I don't know. Get some more. We got a whole bunch of bread. All right, that's got to be enough time. And then you go to the next aisle, and there they are again. Because they were waiting in the other aisle too for you. And then you just go on and on. Anyway. That just happened to me the other day, so that has nothing to do with my talk today. But what does have to do with my talk today is, as I work in the office, and I'm here in the office, working at a temple is a very different thing than working in a normal office because I'm very introspective here. When I work in the office, I often take a moment and I think about the Dharma. I contemplate great thoughts that enter my mind. For example, one great thought that entered my mind was, what would happen if Pinocchio said, my nose will grow in the next 5 seconds? Are you guys thinking about it? Yes. What if Pinocchio said, my nose will grow in the next 5 seconds? What happens when Pinocchio, yeah, the high school kids right here are like, wait a minute. Wait, I know you. What happens to Pinocchio's nose when he lies? It grows. So, if he says, my nose will grow in the next 5 seconds, and it doesn't, then he's telling a lie, which means it'll grow. But then it grew, so then he's telling the truth. So then it shouldn't have grown. Now, do you guys get it? You guys get it? That's like it's like a paradox, right? It's a paradox. And yes, I do think about this stuff when I'm in the office. This is what happens. It's kind of like, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Right? So, are you guys Christian brothers or what school? No? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No, Kim's right there. Kimberly. I'm sorry. We have a lot of Christian brothers, and that would. Okay, never mind. Off topic. Reverend Bob and Patty aren't here today, so we're going to tell them that everything just went fine today. Okay? Right on schedule. So it's another one of those questions, right? This Pinocchio thing. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? These are questions that don't really have definitive answers, correct? And the reason that I'm bringing these types of questions up, because from time to time we do think of things like this. We do think of these big, big questions. And remember, in Buddhism, we don't focus on the questions that don't have answers, okay? Buddhism is not the type of religion or philosophy that you can come to and ask a specific question about your life. Right? If you want to get better grades in school, you can't go to Amida and say, Namanda, how do I get better grades in school? I need to get into college. You can't say that. Or, oh, my marriage, how do I get my wife to listen to me just one time, just to do what I want? Buddha's not going to tell you, unfortunately. But what Buddhism does teach us, and what Buddhism does focus on, is it tells us that we need to learn to open our eyes to see the true nature of the world around us. Okay, and I want you to really think about what that means. How can we keep our eyes, our ears, and our minds open so we're able to receive the truth around us? And off topic again, but the truth is like the Force. Because we got the DVD and we just watched, The Force Awakens again, Star Wars. The truth is like the Force. The Dharma is like the Force. Because Obi-Wan said, right? The Force is an energy source that flows through all things. It penetrates us, it binds us, it holds together the galaxy, right? And Yoda even said,
my ally is the Force. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us, binds us. You must feel the force around you.
Right? And that was the scene where, do you remember when the X-Wing crashed in the swamp? Yeah, you guys are like, oh, I know. So, and Yoda gave that little speech, and then Luke was like, I can't lift up my X-Wing, I can't do it, you know. And Yoda's all,
judge me by my size, will you?
Anyway, so Yoda goes like this, and he only has 3 fingers, but he goes like this, and he's like, ah! And then he lifts up the X-Wing, remember? And the X-Wing comes out of the water, it starts bubbling, and he lifts in, it flows all the way across, and he lands it on the bank, right? And Luke walked up, and he's touching the X-Wing, and he's like, I don't believe it, you know? And Yoda's all,
that is why you failed.
Right? That had a point in here too, somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I think what it was is, I know, like what I just said earlier, those unanswerable questions and like the Force, I know it sounds unrelated, but the only reason I bring up the Force being like the Dharma, it's because they're the same thing. The Dharma is the teachings of the Buddha, right? The Dharma is already everywhere in our lives. It's something that we don't really have to learn it, we have to awaken to it. We have to open our eyes to accept it. So it's a little bit different than learning something. The Dharma is already out there. All we have to do is open our eyes to embrace it and take it in. So I'm going to give you another example of this, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to play some songs for you, okay? So hopefully you guys know these songs. A little rusty, so please excuse me. But and I'm going to ask Ellie to help me too. And I did this for you guys about 3.5 years ago on the piano. But we're going to do it on the ook today, okay? We're going to bust out a different instrument. We're going to try it. So maybe Ellie, if you can come over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try something up here. All right. Can you hear me? Kind of? All right. So what we're going to do is this. This is called, and I know most of you have probably already seen this, but this is called, it's 4 chords, okay? We're going to play 4 chords. We're going to play a C major chord, we're going to play a G major chord, we're going to play an A minor chord, and we're going to play an F major chord, okay? So we're going to play these same exact 4 chords, and we're just going to play them over and over and over, but we're going to sing a bunch of different songs, okay? So let's see if it fits. Let's see if this is even going to work, and hopefully let's see if you even know the song. Okay, I got to start, right? Yeah. Okay, okay. Lipstick stain on the front lobe of my left side brain. I knew I wouldn't forget you, and so I went and let you blow my mind.
Well, you ducked and you bet I felt it. I tried to chill, just hot and melted. It fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back.
So, was that a little interesting at all? Has anybody seen that before? The 4 chords played? Only not too many of you, right? So wasn't that kind of weird that all those different, you guys knew most of those songs, right? You've heard them all. Wasn't that weird that those songs fit into those same 4 chords over and over and over? Wasn't that a little bit interesting? And I know they sound a little different on the radio because they play them in a different key, right? But in essence, the chord progression from that chord to that chord to that chord to that chord, all of those songs fit into that exact same chord progression. And the reason we did this is because hopefully after you saw us do it, you were kind of like, that's very interesting, right? Like kind of like, wow, I never knew that. Or did you not feel that at all? Right? Wasn't that, it was interesting, right? You're like, wow, I never knew that, right? So that is an example, a small, tiny example of what awakening is like. Awakening to the Dharma. The truth of that music, the truth of those chords that they fit, that has always been there, right? That was there yesterday. It was there before you woke up today. But when you discover that truth, when you see that truth right in front of you and you learn it, and now it becomes a part of you, that's what awakening to the Dharma is all about. And that's what Buddhism is all about. So I want you to always remember that when we're here and we study the Dharma, you're not here to learn something that's completely new and revolutionary, that's going to magically change your life. But what you do have to do is open your eyes and put in the effort to receive what's already out there. So with that, please join me in Gasho. So this is what the Dharma is. The Dharma has always been here. Just because you haven't learned about it doesn't mean that it didn't always exist. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you.